There are two sides to the political battle AIG-ing over last week's AIG bonuses, and where there's finger-pointing, there's ass-covering. Giving us our fourth story tonight, the political stakes. Who takes the fall for AIG? Government-appointed CEO Ed Liddy, trying to take the heat off, testified today that some AIG executives have agreed to forego their bonuses, and that this morning he asked all AIG executives who got bonuses of more than $100,000 to give back half. That sounded half-assed to members of Congress who are both channeling and deflecting voter outrage. They warned Liddy that AIG will get a subpoena if he does not name the executives who got a total of $165 million in bonuses last week. Liddy also testified that the Federal Reserve, chaired by Ben Bernanke, both knew about and signed off on the bonuses, leaving President Obama today virtually the only person taking any responsibility, saying, quote, "Ultimately, I'm responsible. I'm the president of the United States." That seems to be the only thing we know for sure right now. Joining us now is MSNBC political analyst Richard Wolff. And Richard, thanks as always for coming on.
My pleasure, David.
Richard, today Senator Dodd said the Obama Treasury Department rewrote the stimulus bill to remove Dodd's ban on bonuses for failed-out firms, making Obama's mea culpa a hell of a lot more concrete. What kind of price does the president pay for this, or does Mr. Obama's mea culpa sort of inoculate him?
No, I don't think there is any inoculation here. The public disapproval, anger, call it what you like, about these kinds of bailouts and specifically about these bonuses is just too great. He can mitigate some of this right now by taking responsibility, by explaining, more importantly, how this came about and how they're going to stop it happening in the future. And there are all these regulatory mechanisms that they're talking about, which may well have a pretty significant impact here. But in the end, the politics of this has built up a head of steam that it's got its own momentum. And so the story doesn't stop here. We know there are more bailout compensation packages that are going to become public in the days and weeks to come. People will rightly be angered for it, and they've got to ask themselves the important question, not just are these people worth the money, but are these institutions worth saving? Are they worth any more taxpayer money? Because that's really the crucial question for whether this economy can pick up.
Dodd took the heat for this for a while, so what happens now to the cultural political divide between populist fury Democrats in the Congress and the Wall Street veterans who are in the White House?
Well, the popular fury is not going anywhere, and, you know, it becomes a sort of technical argument versus a populist one. And in the end, this administration came in to change the ways of Washington, to stop business as usual. So there's got to be an education on both sides. First of all, that it's going to take time. Secondly, that business as usual for Wall Street, there is no business. You know, everything has changed. And to get both sides to understand this is an impossible middle ground that they have to hold. In the meantime, Republicans have got plenty of room here to play with this because they can say they opposed the Bush administration. It's harder for the Obama White House to say, well, remember there was President Bush out there, because they were supportive of it. So the politics of this are very messy. And when you have 80–90% disapproval for more bailouts, anyone trying to right this economy is going to be in a difficult position.
We mentioned two sides to this political hubbub. Obviously, there's today's bonus blame game. But is there another dimension here? I mean, that if Washington writes the narrative about evil Wall Streeters, they will shift the focus away from the fact that both parties created a financial system in which Wall Street execs would have to be idiots not to take the risk they did because Washington systematically severed risk from responsibility. If there's such a thing as meta ass covering, is that part of what's going on here?
Yeah, that's the technical term for it. Look, over the years, the regulatory system was weakened because people believed in free markets. That was true from the Reagan years. It was extended through the Clinton years. Republicans and Democrats bought into this. The 90s would have been the time to correct it. It didn't happen. It's got to happen now.
Richard Wolff of MSNBC. Richard, thanks as always. We appreciate it.